Chelsea beat Milan 2-0 in San Siro with some controversial calls going on in this game, but it was Chelsea's first Champions League win away in Italy since November of 2003. We do have a bit of a Chelsea contingent here with us tonight for this. Craig Burley, Mario Melchior will be joining us as well, and Frank Leboeuf still with us. But this is how Group E is looking after that result. Chelsea at the top of it, Salzburg behind them. They drew their game with Dinamo Zagreb, and Milan 3 spots down, as
Chelsea
you can
heavy
see.
now, this squad. But the Chelsea fans hate Frank because he's really nasty to them.
Well, you're also wonderful and always very complimentary of your former club,
yeah.
Craig. Very complimentary.
My sentiments exactly.
Let's talk about whether, because this was the big decision, wasn't it? Fikayo Tomori should have got that red card and then the penalty that followed.
Well, I didn't have a problem with this because Tomori got in a bad position. Mount, who was excellent, got himself in front, and there was two hand on the shoulders or arms or tugs, call it what you like. And Mason Mount could have went down. He's under no obligation to keep going. He tried to keep going, but I thought he was impeded. And the letter of the law is denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity and no attempt to play the ball.
Frank, do you agree with Craig?
I agree with Craig, even if I find it very severe. I mean, you have to take the whole picture in a way that, yes, there is a penalty, for sure, and there is nothing much to say. Tomori tried twice to pull Mount's shirt and hold Mason Mount. But at the end of the day, you know, if you see the whole picture, yeah, you give a punishment, give a penalty, give a yellow card. But if you give a double punishment, you punish everybody. People want to watch a football game, people who came, 75,000 people. And I think you have to take this into consideration in a way that football is an entertainment. We are talking about Champions League. Penalty, yellow card, but at least, you know, you realize that he didn't injure the player, he wasn't nasty, he just tried to pull him. Okay, that's enough. Carry on. It's an entertainment. I think it was too severe. I know what the law said. I know that it's the double punishment, but I have an issue with that.
What did you think of it all, Mario?
No, I definitely agree with what Frank said. For me, he killed the game. You know, when you look at the ref, I had a feeling like, look, the penalty stood. I definitely agree with the guys. But then for him to kill the game, sometimes, you know, when you play, I'll be honest, when you're sometimes on the field, you want to say something to the ref, but I feel like sometimes they have too much power. And at that moment, I feel like a yellow card would have been enough. And then he ended up, like, after that, I think he gave a yellow card. He ended up giving 9 yellow cards in one game. I mean, sometimes it's like, come on, how much do you want to be in control, you know? And I feel like, I think he had too much.
But I don't think the referee killed the game. Unfortunately, the lawmakers killed the game. The referee refereed that particular incident by the letter of the law. Once he gives a penalty, double jeopardy was tried to be taken out a couple of years ago, whatever it was. If you made a genuine attempt to play the ball and gave a penalty away, you get a yellow card, penalty, no sending off. As soon as the infringement comes from a cynical position, i.e. no attempt to play the ball, but it's an infringement, then he has to send Tomori off. He has no choice once he's made that call. It's up to the lawmakers to address that. That's not the referee's problem.
Harsh but fair then, you're saying?
Well, it was fair, and I don't quite understand a lot of people out there talking about how this was soft and how, you know, he did nothing wrong and Tomori. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not allowed to put your hand on players' shoulders when they're going through and goal. You're allowed to put your arm, and Mario and Franco know as defenders, you're allowed to put your arm across if you get yourself in a good position. But you can't from behind put your hand on somebody's shoulder. There's no doubt Mason Mount would have been in a better position to take the strike than he was if Tomori hadn't grabbed him twice. No doubt. So therefore Craig, he was impeded and it's a penalty. Go on, Frank.
I think I can make a bet with you that I can find pictures of the season coming up, the season right now, in Premier League. You will find this kind of example 200 times in the Premier League, and 200 times the referee won't give a penalty. Even a penalty. Not even a red card, but even a penalty. Because that's a contact sport, and you're right, you're absolutely right on whatever you say. and all the things you say. But it has to be for everybody the same. And I see that every single games in the Premier League, but also in the Ligue 1, sometimes in the Bundesliga. So it's not, if it's like that, and you agree that every game you're going to see is going to be a penalty, a red card, I would say, okay, that's fair. But it's not the case. It's, again, the interpretation of the law by the referee. And as Mario mentioned, the guy gave 9 yellow cards tonight. Half of them were right. I don't know what happened to his head. I think he lost it. He made his life complicated by giving the red card because all the fans were behind him. They wanted every time that a Chelsea player were tackling, like Sterling, 3 minutes after, they wanted a red card. The Milan players were pushing the ref to do so. That's making the game complicated, where you can be a little bit psychologically softer and understand the fact that it's an entertainment again, and that Tomori didn't do something nasty. That's where I want to emphasize the act of Tomori.
Anyway, Chelsea have got a bit of momentum. Graham Potter's got his slippers on. Yeah, he's in there, he's comfy, he's known a wee bit more about his squad. OK, Wolves was a bit of a cannon fodder game at the weekend, and this was down to 10 men, I understand, but he's got a little bit of momentum, and Aubameyang's come in and he's got himself, I think, 3 goals. So that'll do his confidence well. Mason Mount's back looking like the player that we all know he is, and so that's got to be really positive. I mean, I thought Jorginho and Kovacic, albeit they were a man down, I just thought it was a positive performance. They can't do anything about the fact that the referee sends the player off. We've just got to get the job done.
Do you like what you've seen so far, Mario, from Chelsea under Potter?
No, definitely. You know, Craig said it. You know, the confidence in the team. But you know what the important part was? When you go to Milan, we all know away from home is very difficult. You know, especially when they won 3-0 at home, and then go away to that stadium, and then maybe the thing what I felt they did really well is the way they passed the game around. They controlled the game. I think they were always in charge of the game, regardless if it was like getting, you know, like we all know the emotional side of the Italians. They sometimes go really tough at it, and they turned up and doing that, but they still managed to squeeze everything out of it. And then, you know, like now, what Greg said, you know what Potter is doing now, he's coming to a point where he feels like they're doing exactly what he wants them to do. And I think that is what he worked on. And now it's going to come down to how much, when they understand him, how is he going to react to that? Because that is always crucial in the team. And when you play a certain style and they start to understanding everything of you, now I want to see how you're going to react. And that's what's going to come down to what are your forwards going to do. That's why Aubameyang scoring, come on, he's wearing that number 9 shirt, guys. We all know the history of 9. The number 9 shirt, we all know what happens to the number 9, that they normally they lose out on that jersey, man. The guys don't score goals. So he must be very happy scoring goals on that with that jersey on his back.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.